Okay, I just wanted to talk about a couple of the questions on page 41, 42, and 43. I'm not going to do all of them, but just the ones that would help you get a start or the ones that are a bit tricky. So the first one here, it says a delicatessen also sells pots of jellied eel. On average, they sell 3 pots per week. And it says use your tables or calculator. I'm going to use my calculator to help you complete the graph of the theoretical probability distribution for the number of pots of jellied eels sold. So this one is just another way of asking you probability that x is equal to 0, probability that x is equal to 1. So here when it says probability 0, for that part I'm looking for the probability that x is equal to 0. Now remember we're doing Poisson distribution because it's an average over time, so my lambda they've given me is 3, so that's going to be true for everyone. And I want the probability that x is equal to 0. Equal to 0, if I'm doing equals, I need it's binomial. If I'm doing equals, I need PPD. This is equal to, this is less than or equal to. So my x is 0, my mean, my lambda, oops, not 1, it's 3. And I get 0.049. So on my graph, it's a bit hard to see on my PDF version where 0.05 is, because each of these represents 0.2, 0.2, 0. So it's here. So I draw a line there, and I'm just going to write 0.05 so I remember. I would write it in the box, but I didn't think I would fit it in. Okay, just so I remember that it's 0.05. I'll do one more and then I'll finish the graph up. So next one, I want 1. So I'm going to change my x to 1. So now I'm working out the probability that x is equal to 1. And it's 0.149, which we're going to round to 0.15, which is here. So this one is 0.15. Okay, now I've finished the graph. This is write down 2 characteristics of the Poisson distribution that your graph illustrates. So 2 characteristics that it illustrates is, if I look at this, it's got a long tail to the right, so it's positively skewed, and it also has one peak, so it's got a mode. It's unimodal. Sorry, it's unimodal. So then you can use this information that you've created to answer the further questions. So this is, what is the probability that they sell at most 2 pots of jellied eels? So at most 2, I can just add, I've got the graph here, I can just add them together. So 0.05 plus 0.15 plus 0.22 equals 0.42. So the probability that x is less than or equal to 2 is equal to 0.42. Make sure you're writing these statements. If you just write the probability, that's not enough. You need to write these probability statements too. So this one, no fewer than 2 pots, you would just add 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up onwards, but actually it would be better if you went 1 minus, I'm going to end up doing all the questions, 1, am I still recording? So no fewer than 2 means you want all of these, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 onwards. So you don't want 0, 1, so you can go 1 minus probably that x is less than or equal to 1, and that was just these 2 numbers, so it's just 1 minus 1 minus 0.2 equals 0.8. Okay. It says on average, how many pots would you expect them to sell in 2 weeks? So in 1 week they sell 3, so in 2 weeks they're going to sell double that, 6. Now for F, you're going to have to go back into your calculator. You can't use your graph. You need probability that X is less than, I didn't read the question. Sorry, you want the probability that X is greater than 8 equals 1 minus the probability that X is less than or equal to 7. Because actually it's not 7, it's 8. So before I did my little line here, I made a mistake thinking it was 7. It's not 7 because greater than 8 is 9 and 10. So that means I need to take off all of this. So it's 1 minus the probability that X is less than or equal to 8, not 7. So in my calculator, I now need to go into Poisson, PCD. I have an X of 8. I have a mean of 6 now. So I have 1 minus 0.847, which equals 0.153. Okay, the last question, calculate probably they don't sell any jars of pickled snails or jellied eels in a week. This relates to the last question. I don't have that on my whiteboard, but in the last question it said they sold 1 per 2 weeks of snails. So they sold 1 jar of pickled snails for every 2 weeks. Now this is talking about weeks. So remember, jellied eels, the lambda was 3 per week. Now if it's pickled snails, 1 per 2 weeks, so that was for eels. For snails, my lambda is 0.5. Now I need to work out the probability that X equals 0 for both. 0.5 because 1 per 2 weeks, so it's 0.5 per 1 week. So I need to work out the probability that X equals 0 for both, so I need to be in distribution, Poisson, PPD because it's an equals. I'm going to do eels first. X is 0, my lambda, my mean is 3, and I get 0.497. I didn't see the decimal after that. I think I need to round that to an 8. 0.498. And then for lambda is equal to 0.5. I get 0.607. Now, if you remember from probability last year, if you did it, if I want the probability of 2 independent events happening at the same time, so eels and snails, no eels and no snails, I need to multiply those probabilities. So I need to go, well, this would be a 0 here, 0.0. So we go 0.0498 times 0.607 and do that 0.498 times 0.607 0.302. Okay, that's page 41 done.